What civilian skill shocked your military commander? I found out when our entire convoy got stranded in the middle of Iraq because nobody knew how to fix a blown head gasket. This was 2007, my first deployment to Ramadi. I was just a private first class, lowest guy on the food chain. Before enlisting, I'd worked at my uncle's auto shop since I was 16. Could rebuild an engine blindfolded. We were on a supply run to forward operating base Liberty when our lead Humvee started smoking. Not the good kind of smoke. White clouds pouring from under the hood, engine temperature redlining. Staff Sergeant Kelly called a halt. Our mechanic, Specialist Davis, popped the hood and immediately looked lost. This thing's fried, he announced. We need a tow truck and a full engine rebuild. Problem was we were 20 miles from the nearest base. Middle of nowhere. Sun beating down at 120 degrees. Radio chatter indicated enemy activity in the area. Sitting ducks. Captain Morrison was getting frustrated. How long until recovery arrives? At least 4 hours, sir. Maybe 6 if they hit roadblocks. That's when I stepped forward. Sir, I might be able to fix it. The captain looked at me like I'd grown a second head. You're a radio operator, Williams. What could you possibly know about engines? I used to rebuild these exact engines back home, sir. GM 6.5-liter diesel. This looks like a blown head gasket, but it might just be a cracked coolant line. The whole squad was staring. Even Davis looked skeptical. Kid, this isn't some civilian pickup truck. This is military-grade equipment. I walked over to the engine bay, traced the coolant lines with my finger, found the problem in 30 seconds. There it was. Hairline crack in the upper radiator hose. Simple fix. Sir, I need some electrical tape in about 20 minutes. Captain Morrison checked his watch. We don't have 20 minutes for games, Williams. With respect, sir, we don't have 4 hours for recovery either. Give me a shot. What's the worst that could happen? He nodded reluctantly. Davis handed me his toolkit like he was giving toys to a child. I got to work immediately. Cut out the cracked section, spliced in a bypass using spare hose from our emergency kit, wrapped everything tight with electrical tape and hose clamps, refilled the coolant system with water from our reserve supplies, cross-threaded one bolt but managed to get everything sealed. 15 minutes later, I gave the thumbs up. Try starting her now. Davis turned the key. Engine fired up smooth as silk. Temperature gauge stayed normal. No smoke. Captain Morrison just stared. Where the hell did you learn to do that? Tony's Auto Repair, Youngstown, Ohio, sir. Been fixing cars since I could hold a wrench. The whole convoy started cheering. We made it to FOB Liberty without another problem. Word spread fast about the private who saved a mission with electrical tape and spare parts. 3 days later, Captain Morrison called me into his office. Williams, I'm recommending you for transfer to motor pool. We need soldiers who actually understand these machines, not just memorize technical manuals. But sir, I'm trained for communications. Son, you just fixed in 15 minutes what our certified mechanic couldn't diagnose. That's more valuable than radio protocols. 6 months later, I was running maintenance for 3 different forward operating bases, teaching other soldiers real mechanical skills instead of just following repair manuals. The Army sent me to advanced automotive school when I got back stateside. Turns out civilian experience was exactly what they needed. Captain Morrison wrote my recommendation letter for promotion. Most impressive problem solving I've seen in 20 years of service, he said. That kid turned a potential disaster into a maintenance masterclass. I made sergeant ahead of my peers. My uncle back in Youngstown couldn't believe it. Always knew that boy had talent with engines. Just didn't expect Uncle Sam to notice. 10 years later, I run the motor pool at Fort Campbell. Still use the same techniques I learned at Tony's shop. Real world experience beats textbook knowledge every time. Last month, Captain Morrison visited our base as a lieutenant colonel, stopped by the motor pool specifically to see me. Still got that radiator hose, Williams? I opened my toolbox and pulled out the original piece. Cracked hose, wrapped in faded electrical tape mounted on a small plaque. It reads, "Sometimes the best military training happens in civilian clothes." He laughed and shook my hand. That 15-minute fix changed how I think about enlisted expertise. Now I listen when my soldiers say they know a better way.